All right, so you're here because you want the AI download, right? The need to know stuff. Straight to the point.
Right to the good stuff.
We got you. We're diving into the AIDB newsletter, hot off the press today, March 20th, 2025.
March 20th.
3 big things in this one.
Yeah, some really big stories.
It's like a cheat sheet for what matters in AI right now.
Yeah, cheat sheet, exactly.
Okay, so first up, OpenAI.
Okay.
They just dropped, like yesterday, this new model,
Oh, yeah.
the o1-pro, March 19th.
19th.
Through their API. This isn't your, like, messing around with AI stuff. This is serious firepower.
No, this is a premium. This is the premium tier.
Yeah.
It's for advanced, reasoning and problem solving. It's like they took what they already had, which was pretty good, and we're like, let's just turn it up to 11.
Okay, so, like, what can it do?
Yeah. So it can do things like, debug really complex code, really like in-depth complex code. You can do these really crazy, intricate mathematical, like, analysis. And then also, they were talking about technical problem solving, like really, really knotty problems.
Yeah, they emphasize that.
They emphasized it a lot.
The newsletter did that. It's got way more processing power, so it gets more consistent and accurate results. Okay, souped up AI brain.
Yeah.
What's different?
It handles text and images.
Yeah.
And it also spits out structured data.
Okay.
And then it has something called function calling, which is...
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it's kind of like, so it's not just giving you information, it can actually interact with other software. So like you could ask it to book a meeting and it could call a calendar app, as an example.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, to actually like schedule it. So it's like integrating the AI into your actual workflow.
Yeah. So it's not just like, spitting out information, it's actually doing stuff.
Doing stuff.
Okay, and you said text and images, so it can take in both.
It takes in both.
Oh, interesting.
Which is really interesting because that really opens up a lot of potential applications. And then the structured outputs, what's nice about that is it can organize all this information in a way that other systems can understand and use.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's really important if you're thinking about like businesses and integrations and all that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive.
And the newsletter specifically called out its strength in coding, mathematical reasoning, and technical problem solving, which, those are the areas where you would need that extra horsepower, right?
Yeah, you need the premium. You need the premium power for that. Where precision and this in-depth analysis is like, it's paramount. So for developers or researchers or engineers, who are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, having access to this kind of level of AI, it could seriously, boost their work. They could solve problems that might have taken forever or that they couldn't solve before.
Now, there are caveats, right?
Well, there's always caveats.
There's always caveats. The newsletter mentioned a knowledge cutoff date, September 30th, 2023.
2023, yeah.
So it's not, up on current events.
No, so it's like this super smart brain.
Yeah.
But it's got, old textbook.
Exactly.
It could process all this information and reason through things really well. But you can't ask it about what happened yesterday.
Right. So, if you need to be up to the minute on the news, this isn't it.
This isn't it.
You got to go somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Okay. Then there's the price tag, 150 per million input tokens and 600 per million output tokens.
It's a premium. It's a premium price.
This is not your average AI interaction. This is like you're dropping some serious science.
What are tokens? Yeah, what are tokens? So basically tokens are these little building blocks of language. It's what the AI understands. So a word, or sometimes even parts of a word, are counted as tokens. So the more complex your prompt is, or the more detail you want in the AI's response, the more tokens you're using. That's how they calculate the cost.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can get pricey pretty quickly. So, this is really aimed at businesses and, serious developers who have the budget for this.
Yeah.
And who are doing things that need this level of sophistication.
Okay. This is not for the casual.
This is not for the dabbler.
This is not for the dabbler.
No.
Okay. So who gets to use this right now?
That's the thing. Not everybody.
Not everybody.
So they're limiting it.
Okay.
Initially to developers who are in their higher usage tiers.
Okay.
So specifically tier 5.
Okay.
And that requires, that you spend at least $1,000 already and your account has to be 30 days old.
Okay. So you're already pretty deep in.
You're in the ecosystem.
You're in the ecosystem. Yeah. Okay. So this is the pro tool.
Pro level, yeah.
Okay. So if I'm just, Joe Schmo listening and I'm not a tier 5 developer, why do I care?
Well, you care because even if you're not going to use this directly, it shows where things are going. Like, this is where the future of AI is headed. OpenAI is really pushing for this advanced reasoning and problem solving. So the things they learned from o1-pro, it's going to trickle down to the tools that eventually everyone gets to use. It's like they're setting a new standard.
Right, right.
So it's important even if you can't use it yet.
Yeah, it's like the Formula One car, right? Like
It's-
that technology eventually,
It trickles down.
it trickles down, yeah. The newsletter also mentioned, just briefly, previous premium models and then this possibility of an O1 mini for like free ChatGPT users.
Yeah, so they seem to be going with this like spectrum of models
Right.
where you have these high-end, like super powerful tools for the people who need them and can afford them.
Mhm.
And then eventually they want to make, some of these advancements available to everybody, like this O1 mini. But, we don't know when that's coming yet.
Right, no timeline on that.
No, but it's interesting. It shows they're trying to make this stuff more accessible over time.
Okay, so from Super Brains 2, have you seen this Atlas robot video?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's amazing, isn't it?
Boston Dynamics, they dropped this video March 19th. And this thing, it looks like it's trying out for a breakdancing crew.
I know. It's unbelievable how fluid the movements are.
Yeah.
It's like almost human, and then sometimes it's even like beyond human. Like it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, the moves, so smooth, it's like mesmerizing.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah. So what's new? Like, it's not just about walking and like basic movements anymore, right?
No. It's like way beyond that. The level of dexterity
Oh,
and just the complexity of what it's doing is just mind-blowing. So it's like adapting to these like really unexpected changes in balance. It can recover from, like they'll make it stumble and it recovers. And then it's doing these like really rapid, precise pivots and turns. And it's like how,
yeah.
I mean, the robotic control systems they have now are just, it's insane.
And the newsletter, they highlighted reinforcement learning and human motion capture in this. So what do those two things, how do they feed into this like new agility?
So this is what's really cool about it. So in the past, robots would be pre-programmed with every movement.
Okay.
This one, it's using reinforcement learning. So it's kind of like trial and error. So the robot tries something, sees if it works, and then it just keeps refining its technique until it gets it right. So it's actually learning and improving. Yeah. It's not just playing back a routine, it's figuring stuff out. And then the human motion capture, it's like they partnered with this Robotics and AI Institute, and they use these special suits to capture the nuances of how humans move. So they're basically teaching Atlas to move more naturally, by showing it the best examples, like real human agility.
So it's like learning from the masters.
Learning from the master.
The masters.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it's mimicking us, but in this very data-driven way. Now, they also mentioned, the newsletter did, some technical upgrades. They went fully electric. How does that change things?
It's huge. I mean, you remember, I think it was last year, they retired the old hydraulic model.
Mm-hmm.
And this new electric one, it can move in ways that the old one just couldn't. It's because of these advancements in electric actuators and these really precise control systems. I mean, it's like it can move in ways that we can't even...
human limits?
Beyond human limits.
Oh, okay. So it's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy, but it's so cool.
It's impressive.
It is.
And it can make these real-time adjustments.
Yeah, to keep its balance.
Keep its balance, yeah. So it's constantly sensing and processing. That must be some pretty serious...
Oh, yeah. The sensors and processing power on board that thing is just... It's another level.
Okay, so beyond the breakdancing, what's the point? Why does all this agility matter?
Okay, so think about it, right? Search and rescue. You got a robot that can navigate through, like, a collapsed building or a really tight space.
Okay.
That's life-saving. Or, industrial settings where a robot needs to do really intricate work in a really confined area.
Okay.
And then being able to recover from like a slip or a fall,
Yeah.
that's huge. It's not just about the dance moves. It's about showing what these robots are capable of in really challenging environments.
So they're not just showing off, it's like a proof of concept.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got agility down. Let's talk about the AI brains behind this whole thing.
Okay.
NVIDIA. They just unveiled this GROOT N1 foundation model at GTC, their big conference.
Oh, yeah, I've read about that.
This is like the foundation for a whole generation of robots.
It's like the core intelligence that can be adapted to like all sorts of different robots, not just one specific type.
It's generalist.
It's a generalist.
Yeah.
It's not designed for one specific task or one specific robot. It's like it can learn to do almost anything.
Okay. So GROOT N1, what's it all about?
Well, it's the next step from their old project Giro, and now they've broadened the focus to all sorts of robots, not just industrial ones.
Okay.
And what's really cool is that it's designed to be highly customizable, and it's going to be open source.
Okay.
So that means that anyone can basically take it and adapt it and use it for their own robots.
Okay.
And it's going to really speed up development.
So it's like a collaboration.
Massive collaboration.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the key features here? The newsletter mentioned a dual system architecture, which sounds pretty fancy.
It's very fancy. It's based on this idea of thinking fast and slow.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So you've got System 1, which is the fast thinking part, that operates at 120 hertz. And it's responsible for the low-level motor control. Smooth movements, grasping objects, that sort of thing.
So it's like the reflexes.
Reflexes, exactly.
Instantaneous.
Yeah, the rapid response stuff.
Okay, so that's the fast. What about the slow?
So System 2 is the slow thinking part, and that's where the real smarts come in.
Okay.
It's a vision language model. It can look at the world around the robot. It can understand what you're asking it to do, and it can plan out these really complex multi-step actions.
Okay.
So System 1 is like the hands, and System 2 is like the brain. They work together.
Okay. Interesting. So how do they train this thing?
Well, that's the really interesting part. They're using a mix of data sources.
Okay.
So they got synthetic data that's generated by their Isaac platform.
Mm-hmm.
They've got real-world data collected from humans teleoperating robots.
Yeah.
And then they've also got just tons of video data from the internet.
Okay.
And they're combining all of that to create this model that can handle almost anything you throw at it.
So simulated world, real world demos, internet data.
The whole shebang.
Okay, that sounds pretty robust.
It's like the ultimate training regimen.
The newsletter also mentioned something called cross-embodiment.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean in the context of, a robot?
It's a big deal. It means that you can take this one GROT N1 model
Okay.
and you can use it to control all sorts of different robots. They specifically mentioned the Fourier GR1 and the 1X Neo, but it's not limited to those.
Uh-huh.
It's you have this one brain
Okay.
that you can plug into all these different bodies.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And it just makes development and deployment so much easier and faster.
So instead of creating a new brain for each,
Exactly.
you have this one and then you can adapt it.
Adapt it.
Okay. And they're open sourcing this?
Yeah, the whole thing. GROT N1, simulation tools, robot blueprints, training data, you name it. It's all going up on Hugging Face and GitHub. It's a huge deal because now anyone can basically take this and run with it.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA, they're basically saying, okay, world, let's all build this future together.
Yeah, it's a whole community thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got their Isaac Lab and Isaac Sim, which those are their platforms, right? For developing and testing these models.
In a virtual world. So you can basically build and train a robot entirely in simulation before you even touch a piece of metal.
That's so cool.
It's like playing a video game, but you're actually building a robot. And the cool thing is it's so much faster and cheaper than doing it in the real world. And they've had some amazing results, like creating these huge data sets in a fraction of the time. And the robots are actually learning faster this way. It's like the future of robotics is happening in the computer now.
And this is all set up to work perfectly with their hardware too.
Right, like their Jetson Thor, which is a super powerful AI computer specifically for robots.
Okay. So what can these GROT-powered robots actually do?
Well, the possibilities are kind of endless. We're talking about things like, moving boxes in a warehouse
Okay.
to doing really complex assembly work in a factory
Okay.
to even helping out around the house, like tidying up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they showed this really cool demo of a robot called Neo Gamma
Yeah.
from a company called 1X. And that thing could tidy up a room.
Oh, okay. That's impressive.
Pretty wild. It's they're starting to become more and more like, what we see in the movies.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that some of these really big robotics companies like Boston Dynamics, Agility Robotics, they're all getting early access to GROT N1,
Okay.
which, that's a big deal. That means they see the potential here. It's not just hype. They're actually betting on this technology.
And they're framing this as a solution to this, this projected global labor shortage.
Right, yeah. They're thinking big.
Thinking big, yeah. They're not just talking about, some niche applications.
No. This is they think this could be the answer to a really big problem.
And they're collaborating with Google DeepMind and Disney Research, right?
Yeah, on this new physics engine.
Newton.
Yeah. Okay, so this is separate from GR?
Well, it's like a piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
To build these really realistic and capable robots, they need a physics engine that can simulate the real world really accurately. So that's what Newton's all about. And then it all integrates with their Omniverse and Cosmos platforms.
Which are?
Which are basically platforms for creating these like photorealistic virtual worlds. So you can basically train a robot in a simulation that is indistinguishable from the real world.
Okay, so it's all about blurring the lines between simulation and reality.
Yeah.
So they can train these robots in these perfect virtual worlds.
And then they can deploy them in the real world, and they already know what to do.
That's a big idea. It's a big idea.
NVIDIA Isaac GROOT is a platform of sim-ready data, simulation frameworks, and synthetic data generation blueprints, and pre-trained models. NVIDIA Isaac GROOT N1 is an open generalist foundation model for humanoid robots. GROOT N1 features a dual system architecture for thinking fast and slow, inspired by principles of human cognitive processing. The slow thinking system lets the robot perceive and reason about its environment and instructions, and plan the right actions to take. The fast thinking system translates the plan into precise and continuous robot actions. While internet-scale training data provides common sense and reasoning, it doesn't teach robots specific actions or control. So we need better data, and more of it. Human demonstration data is limited by the number of hours in a day. With GROOT blueprints for synthetic data generation built on NVIDIA Omniverse and Cosmos, we can exponentially multiply a small number of real-world data captures into a massive, diverse training dataset. GROOT N1's generalization lets robots manipulate common objects with ease and execute multi-step sequences collaboratively. Across many environments, and even multiple embodiments. And with synthetic data generation and reinforcement learning, humanoid robot developers can post-train GROOT N1 for their specific robot and task. The age of generalist robots is here, driven by developers building on NVIDIA Isaac GROOT.
It's pretty mind-blowing. And, even Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO, he said that, the age of generalist robotics is here. He's all in on this. And one of the guys from 1X, Burnich, he was talking about how much progress they've made with reasoning, how these robots can actually think and figure things out. And he said that deployment could be really fast.
Okay, so this is all happening now.
Yeah, they just released the first version of GROOT N1. It's a 2 billion parameter model, which is it's big.
Okay, so it's early days.
It's early days, yeah. But it's a big step.
Okay.
There are still challenges, of course, like making these models even bigger and making sure that they work reliably in the real world. But, it's a really exciting time to be following all of this.
Well, this was a jam-packed AI deep dive. We
covered a lot.
We covered a lot, right? We talked about OpenAI's new super powerful model, o1-pro,
Yeah.
Boston Dynamics Atlas robot, and its incredible agility.
Incredible.
And then NVIDIA's GROOT N1, which is the foundation for this whole new wave of
General-purpose robots.
general-purpose robots, yeah.
They can basically do anything.
So it's these three separate things, but they're all pointing in the same direction.
Yeah, the future of AI and robotics is merging.
Yeah. It's all about these intelligent machines that can do these really complex tasks, both in, the digital world and the real world.
And it's happening fast. I mean, the pace of development is just incredible. It's exciting, but it's also a little bit, it makes you think.
Yeah. So here's something for you to think about. All of this stuff we talked about, what's the thing that surprises you the most? Or what do you think is going to have the biggest impact?
On your life.
On work, technology, everyday life, whatever. Because it is kind of mind-blowing to think about where this all leads,
It is, and that's the point, right? To get people thinking. This is the beginning of a whole new era.
Yeah.
And nobody knows exactly what it's going to look like.
Okay. Well, hopefully this deep dive into the AI DB got you thinking and gave you some good information to,
To ponder.
to ponder, yeah.
Yeah,
And, to learn more about if you're interested.
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep that curiosity going.